From the News Talk STL studios in St. Louis, it's the Right Mind Show with Todd Showalter. On tonight's episode, Seinfeld actor Larry Hankin, stand-up comedian Chrissy Mayr, and the Right Mind studio band Mitch Murphy and the Murphy Tones. Now putting the fun in your dysfunctional world, here's your host, Todd Showalter.
Well, I got to tell you, my friend, here I am. I am reporting live, and I say live because I haven't felt alive for the last couple of days. I got this flu that's going around. I mean, I hear it's going around in St. Louis, too, but I don't want to talk about that because I'm reporting live from the Gulf of America.
It's official.
The Gulf of America. It is official.
You can't get into the White House press room if you call it the Gulf of Mexico. AP found out the hard way. You call it Gulf of America.
Well, it is Gulf of America because actually, I mean, there is a floating Gulf of America sign in front of me right now. They officially took down the Gulf of Mexico sign. I watched it. It sunk like the Titanic. They had like the music and everything. And now the Gulf of America sign is ablazing on the horizon here. So I am looking as we speak at the Gulf of America.
I wish you could have grabbed some of those letters that they don't need. No one's using that X. We could bring that back and put up a shrine to Elon at the station or something, just a big X, and say this here was part of the Gulf of Mexico. Well,
I could go, maybe I'll go like snorkeling later on and, see what I can do. How are you doing, my friend? What's going on with you? Are things in St. Louis, is there a lot of gun battles? Is there a lot of bad weather? But I mean, I don't want to make this a weather show, but I just want to make sure that I should feel good about being in Florida.
Wednesday, there was the big snowpocalypse part 2. We had to fend for ourselves. We had to rip the lids off of our recycling canisters, and we had to use those as shovels, and we had to just shovel our way out of Dogtown again. It
sounds like a living hell, I tell you. I don't know how you...
Down at Lambert Airport, a plane just skidded off the tarmac because Tashara wasn't out there plowing out there either.
I thought Tashara was flying the plane. I thought that's why it actually skid off the runway. That's not the case?
That could be both.
Well, our buddy Andy Jones, I mean, he wouldn't let that happen now.
Future Mayor Andrew Jones, we call him Andy because we're friends with him. Yeah, he wouldn't let that happen.
Like that. Andy? I can't do the voice because I'm getting over my flu. Did I mention that I've had the flu? It's really going around. You said everybody back home has it too, right?
Everyone at the station was knocked out. If we were to nail it down to one specific day, it was last Wednesday where everyone was attacked, and that happened to be the same day you were in. I'm not saying you...
I was going to say, what a coincidence that is. That was the day I was there.
I'm not saying that you started it, but you did take it with you to Florida, and you and the wife have been cuddled up watching all the Oscar films now, just trying to recover in paradise.
You know what? Did I mention that down here? I mean, they have newscasts because they do report things on, and there's really not much to report. But all the newscasters down here are like 8 or 9 years old. Did I tell you about that?
Now you're in Pensacola. Where are you at in Florida?
We're outside of Pensacola in Panamanian City.
Ah, yes, the Panamanian Canal. Okay.
The Panamanian Canal. Yeah, the Panamanian Canal. Which, by the way, I keep everywhere I go. I keep screaming in the streets, Donald Trump is taking this city over. I'm sorry, this does not belong to China anymore. And nobody knows what in the hell I'm talking about.
I don't know why we gave Panama away to China. I mean, it's still attached to Florida, it seems like, mostly. So we're taking
right
it back.
It's right. Oh, wait a minute. Guess what? As I speak, it's ablaze. The Gulf of America, they've actually lit the word America up. Like I don't know if they're sparklers. Well, a wave came in, and now they just got doused. But anyway, this is going to be it is now the Gulf of America, and I am in Panama.
It sounds like that you are sick, so you're taking in the local newscasts, and everything's a little bit weird on these other channels.
Is that what I was talking about before I lost my mind? Yeah, you see, I still have that brain fog.
Are St. Louis reporters ugly, or are Florida reporters cuter? I mean, what's the difference?
Well, they're like 8 or 9 years old. It's really quite something. It's like they're putting on a show. I mean, it's hysterical. I mean, they're probably the worst newscasters I've ever seen, but the little kids, God love them. You got to, give them an A for effort.
You know what they say in St. Louis? If there's Mike Bush on the field, you play ball.
Oh, yeah. I used to say I get all my balls at Dick's, but I can't say that anymore either.
Yeah. Karen Foss, where's she at when we need her? We need just a grizzled veteran. Yeah.
Karen Foss is she's not a fan of mine. I don't know if I ever told you this, like it, but she and I got in. Who is that She's like a columnist. We have our buddy Bill McClellan comes in, but then they have another one who's I don't follow the Post, but I think she's like Iranian or something. She's from another country, but she had some thing on Facebook that I commented on that Karen did not like, and Karen pulled a total Karen move and just totally berated me on this woman's Facebook feed. And you know what I said to her? I said, "You were never as good as Mike Bush." Did I mention that I had the flu?
Now, have you been actually diagnosed and you've taken the Tamiflu and the suppositories?
No. Here's the thing that's so stupid about that.
Self-diagnosed.
I mean, do you need to take a test to know that you're sick? Okay, so I know that I'm sick. I know that I had the flu. I don't have to go to the store and say, hey, I need a test just in case I'm wrong and I don't have the flu. It's kind of like if you cut your finger, okay? I don't go to the doctor and say, hey, will you let me know if I cut my finger? When right there you can see that it's bleeding all over the place. So when I'm sick with the flu, I don't need a test to tell me that I'm sick because I already know. That's the stupidest thing I've ever heard. It's a total money scam that I hope Doge and Elon Musk and everybody else uncovers and we get all that money back.
Something I will recommend, if you've got a severe case of the hiccups, do go to urgent care. And then when they give you that $300 bill, it immediately will scare the hiccups right out of you and you'll be cured.
Oh. Well, I don't pay it. That's what I do. You know what I say?
Run away. Don't give them your real name.
I do. I say, that's what I do. They say, wait a minute, you have to finish. I go, no, I don't. Got to go. And that's what I do. I leave. Yeah, I'm out of there. They say urgent care. I say urgent out of there. I had a neighbor that went into, he listens to the show, by the way.
Hi, neighbor.
Bill. Hi, neighbor. This is another true story because, once again, I'm on vacation, so only about 64.7% of the stuff on this episode is true. But this part is true. I'm at the urgent care. I had something. I had like pink eye or something because another one of these things that my wife's daycare people share with me. And my neighbor is in there just bleeding profusely, okay? He had almost severed his finger with a table saw. And I thought, well, Bill, I think that the emergency room is more appropriate for this. Nope, this is going to be better, and it's better for my deductible. So I don't know whatever happened to him, but you don't go to the urgent care when you cut off appendages.
They deducted your finger.
Why did we talk about this? I mean, I'm just rambling now.
Well, because you're sick and I want to make sure that you're getting all the care that you need. Something I found is sleeping for 20 hours straight. That's the cure that ails you.
Did you do that too? Because I was like 30 hours.
Mm-hmm.
I missed it. I missed an entire day. I mean, I went to sleep. I think I went to sleep right after the Super Bowl, and I woke up about 5 minutes before I'm talking to you right now. What did I miss?
I don't know. I think America won the Super Bowl again. If you saw the halftime show, it was America versus Canada because this Kendrick Lamar guy, he's got a beef with Canada and specifically their president, Drake.
Right.
I guess Drake is not running things as smooth as he'd like. So Kendrick Lamar has embarrassed everyone in Canada, and America won the Super Bowl once again.
Well, apparently I'm just a horrible racist, okay, because I did not
Say no more.
I didn't understand it. I didn't understand the halftime show. Okay, it's not that it's not being racist. I just didn't understand it. Can someone please explain? Now, this is going to be old news, but I don't care. I'm old. What was the point of this halftime show? I don't know who this man was. I don't know what he was singing about. Why was Samuel Jackson? Why was he dressed up like the KFC guy? No, he was like Uncle Sam. What was this whole show about?
Well, it's a very, very complicated beef between this guy Kendrick Lamar and Drake, and for some reason, oh boy, he wants to just make sure this guy never sings a song again. So he's embarrassed him all year long. He's won Record of the Year from the Grammys for this diss track. And then
get out of here.
Yeah.
Really?
He actually calls this Drake guy a pedophile in the lyrics, and the entire stadium in New Orleans sang along with it and called him a pedophile as well. And then, one of his girlfriends, his ex-girlfriend, Serena Williams, she came out and she did a crip walk. I don't know if that's normal for kids to see gang signs like that from their tennis heroes. And so he brought out his ex-girlfriend, and it's all just mumble rap. That's the worst part. If only we could understand what he was saying.
Well, why weren't there subtitles? I mean, maybe if there were subtitles, I could have understood the damn thing. I didn't know what in the heck was going on, okay? And this is right when the flu was starting to kick in. So I thought I was hallucinating, okay? I thought, wait a minute. Michael Jackson's been dead for over 10 years. What is he mumbling about? That's what I thought.
And these clothes are so ill-fitting. I mean, if anything, I'd love to see what the kids are into. The rappers usually have good fashion sense. But no, he was wearing bell-bottoms and patches. I mean, no way that would look good on me. I didn't pick up any tips.
I didn't understand what in the heck was going on. It was a total blur to me. It was just total craziness, I tell you. I almost choking right now on my little hot dog. What did you have to eat on the Super Bowl?
I skipped the Super Bowl completely. I didn't dip in. I didn't dip out. I didn't eat any guacamole. Nothing. Okay. I didn't catch a single second of it.
Because I told you last week, or the last time I was in town, because now I'm out of town looking at the Gulf of America, that, there's certain things, like when I'm sick, that if I'm wearing a shirt or I eat something or I'm watching something, I can't do it again because it reminds me of being sick. So I was eating my favorite little hot dogs, like pigs in a blanket, they call them, and I can never have those again because those are now going to remind me of being sick.
Is there some sort of food that you do take part in when you go visit Florida? Because, of course, I get the key lime pie whenever I'm out there, no matter which part of Florida. I love a good key lime pie. Is there something next to you that you guys make sure you eat every time?
Not yet, because I haven't been outside. I've just been sleeping nonstop, I tell you. But usually I go outside on the corner and yell, "Does anybody have a good clam?"
Oh, yeah.
I not because I really want a clam, but I just like it's just fun for me to start barking, "Hey, do you got any good clams?"
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So no, but I have not. I haven't partaken in anything. I mean, usually I do, but now I think I'm wasting away.
Now, did you drive or did you fly to Florida?
We actually did drive. Okay, and that's why I'm so sick. I mean, did I mention that I have the flu? I mean, I am just deathly ill because you're basically, what's going to happen. Okay, because we're driving all the way down to Florida in a confined little space with my wife who's sick as a dog. And I said, it's going to happen any second. So I kind of willed it on myself. But even if I hadn't, it would have happened.
Now, what I've been doing is I have a little coffee mug next to my bed. And anytime that I have to hack up a little mucus. Yep,
that was me.
Perfect, yep. Whenever I have to hack up a little bit of mucus, I spit it right into the coffee mug. And it sits right there next to my desk. And I hope to gosh that my girlfriend doesn't walk in and see this just overflowing cup of mucus, and she decides to break up with me. And also, you got to be careful when you wake up that you don't take a swig of that thinking it's coffee.
We call that the Hucker bucket.
Mm-hmm.
Do you call it the Hucker bucket?
I will now. Yeah. You don't want to be swallowing that same mucus all day because that'll upset your tummy too.
Who do we have on the show today? Because we've got, I know that we have some highlights. This is like a best of interview show, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, the most famous people we've ever had on the show asked to come back, but not literally come back. They gave us permission to reuse their interviews, and we don't have to pay them again. We paid them the first time, and they're fine with that.
I paid them with love. Did they tell you that? And they said you never have to do that again, and so I'm not going to. But I enjoyed it.
Our friend Larry Hankin from Seinfeld, he checked the Amazon bestsellers, and he saw that he sold one book, assumed it was you that bought it, and he's like, all right, that's enough payment.
Okay, well, so even though I didn't really buy the book, so that's going to be one thing that when people hear this interview, they haven't heard it the first time, this is going to be one of those instances where I was not telling the truth because, no, I did not actually buy his book.
And then, of course, Chrissy Mayr, she's the funniest comedian we've ever had on. Lady comedians, who'd have thought? And we donated a download to her. We took one of our downloads, we transferred it to her podcast, and so it's all squared away.
Wow, it sounds just like kumbaya all the way around. Well, I tell you what, before we got a break here, I'm going to take some more Mucinex and God knows what else because all of a sudden I feel my head is floating again. Does it look like my head is floating? Because we're doing this for people that don't understand because we're really high tech. We're actually looking at each other on these little tiny screens, aren't we?
Mm-hmm. It seems like you have the perfect position to spit this mucus because you're on the 23rd floor, and I would just be so excited to be sick, so I had all this mucus to just hawk off to the side of the railing onto the people below.
I'm glad you brought that up. See, I'm getting all choked up. You're not allowed to throw things from high altitudes up here. Otherwise, you'll get a fine. Because I brought like about 20 watermelons with me, and I thought, wow, this is going to be a lot of fun to watch these explode from 23 floors up. But apparently, it's a $10,000 fine every time you do it. So I did it from my neighbor's balcony.
Oh, that's perfect.
Yeah. So, all right. Well, I guess when we come back, we'll be talking to Chrissy Mayr, or we're going to be talking to maybe Larry Hankin. Actually, we're not going to be talking to any of them because we already talked to them, and it's going to be a rerun, but it's a good one when we come back. In the meantime, I'm Todd Showalter, trying to stay alive with my bestest buddy, Joey V. Hey, by the way, how is Mitch?
Oh, Mitch, he's actually under my desk right now, shining my shoes.
I told him that. Oh, okay, shining your shoes. Never mind. Almost got us in trouble there again. I told him he's not allowed to do that per FCC and my rules.
Yeah, he heard your story about the Boy Scouts and how you made a shoe shine block and got kicked out. Yeah. So he's trying to get kicked out of this show by throwing shoe shine blocks at my head. And I'm too quick. He missed me.
Make sure he's only shining your shoes, if you know what I mean.
I heard a spit. Is that part of it?
No, that's the mucus bucket.
Okay.
All right, when we come back, we're going to have more fun. In the meantime, I'm Todd Showalter, trying to stay alive with my bestest buddy, Joey V. This is The Right Mind Show from Florida, the Gulf of America. We'll be right back.
Coming up next on The Right Mind Show with Todd Showalter, Seinfeld actor Larry Hankin. Welcome back to The Right Mind Show with Todd Showalter on News Talk STL. And now a man who always buys his Valentine's Day chocolates on February 15th, Todd Showalter.
On the line with me now, you've seen him on Breaking Bad, Seinfeld, Friends. He's got a new book out called That Guy, my buddy Larry Hankin. How you doing, Larry? How have you been?
Well, I'm doing fine after a month in the hospital. I'm perfect now.
Well, that's right, because you said you've been kind of out of the loop for a month, so I didn't realize you were in the hospital. Yeah. I mean, I don't know if there's anything you want to talk about.
I wanted to get my hip fixed. It was making me limp, so I went into. So everything is fine, and I'm walking around, and it doesn't make me limp anymore. So I'm cool. It turns out I'm a healer. I didn't.
You're
know
a healer.
That.
Okay, like a spiritual healer.
I'm a healer. No, I heal fast.
Oh, okay.
Is what's going on? Here's the weird thing: there was absolutely no pain at all the entire time. From the time I went into the hospital to the time to right now.
Are you sure you had it done?
The whole thing was very strange.
Wow. Okay. Well, one of the things we were going to talk about, and because you've and we've talked on several other shows, but you've played so many roles. You've been on Breaking Bad, you've been on Seinfeld, you've been on Friends. And for the new audience that we have here, a lot of times, people say, oh, I know that guy, but I can't remember his name. So what did you do? You decided, I'm going to write a book. And so you did that, and you called it That Guy.
Well, it was kind of, you don't have the right order. Everybody's called me That Guy, and I thought, that's a great title for a book.
Oh, okay.
So I wrote the book.
Well, okay. Well, I tried to get the gist of it, but it's called That Guy.
Yeah, no.
It's a great guy. Because originally, weren't we going to say we were discussing, we were going to call it the Todd Showalter story, and you said, no, it's about me, and we said That Guy, right? That's a joke. I'm kidding.
So I just started to write it, and it just kept on going. I wasn't, until I got about a quarter of the way into the book, I wasn't really serious about it. I was just, what do I write about now? Because it was about my career, so it was very easy to write because I just went by the calendar, what did I do first and then what happened after that.
But, you started out way back. You got a degree as an industrial engineer, and you were in Detroit.
Industrial designer,
industrial designer. And then what? And then you started doing like improv. You were with the community in San Francisco.
No, I never planned anything. I never wanted to end up, talking on the phone to Todd. I never.
Well, a lot of people don't. You're not alone. Usually they're like, hang up. He's on the phone again. I get that from relatives.
But I went to college because I didn't want to go to college. I didn't want to do anything. I just wanted to hang out. That was my one big dream.
Right.
When I grow up, I want to hang out. But my parents wanted me to go to college, and I didn't want to go to college. So I went to college as an industrial designer because I wanted to go to art school, and they didn't want me to go to art school. So I thought industrial design. I saw design, the word design.
Sure.
I thought, well, that's close to art. It's just engineering, really, with drawing the products that you design. So it's
Sure.
engineering, really. And I hated it. I didn't hate it, but because I was drawing, and I really got off on the drawing part.
Yeah.
Even if it was drawing a car.
How did the showbiz side come about then?
Well, yeah. So I graduated. I had no idea about what I wanted to do once I got out of college, because I knew I didn't want to be an industrial designer. I was just doing it for my parents, and I had nothing else to do. I had no dreams or anything. So I got the degree, and then my best friend in college at Syracuse was Carl Gottlieb, who wrote Jaws and a lot of movies.
That's right.
So, after we got out, and he was in the theater department at Syracuse. So I was hanging around with him, and then I got into a couple of plays just because I was hanging around with him, and well, what he's doing is fun, doing plays and stuff. And then he on graduation, they would graduate at the same time. He said, where are you going? What are you going to do now? And I said, I don't know, man. I'm not going to be an industrial designer. I haven't told my parents that yet, but I'm not going to do it. Where are you going? And he said, I'm going to Greenwich Village. I want to be a writer. I'm going to write movies. So I said, well, you want a roommate? I'll go with you because we're friends, but I don't know what I want to do. I'll go to Greenwich Village. Sounds like fun.
Sure.
It was the early 60s, and everybody in Greenwich Village was a folk singer, and a couple of guys were stand-up comedians. But it was stand-up comedians, just men, no women stand-up comedians yet. So I just said, well, I'll do this. I would sit in the coffee house. How I paid the rent was I cleaned up bars at night. I worked in a bar, and I cleaned it up from 2 a.m. last call until the chefs came in at 6 in the morning. It was like a bar and grill. So I cleaned the bar, peanut shells and stuff, straighten up the chairs, for like 4 hours. And I got paid, and that was my job. But I had the whole night free until 2 a.m., so I hung out in the coffee houses, and I saw all these folk singers and stand-up comedians. I couldn't sing. I didn't want to sing, so I thought, well, I'd stand-up comedian. I'll do that. I was a funny guy in high school, so I thought I could do it.
You're still a funny guy.
So I did it, and it was kind of hard. It was a learning curve, but I guess I had a funny bone in me because I caught on real quick.
Okay.
And within 6 months, I was opening for Woody Allen.
Wow, I didn't realize that. So you were opening for Woody Allen?
Oh, yeah, I opened it for him. That was my first job, was opening for Woody Allen. And his manager, who was my manager, who discovered me, he came up to me in a coffee house, and this gentleman, he was in a suit, white hair and stuff, and he said, you have a manager, an agent? Do you have any representation? And I go, no, I just come off the stage from, the coffee house. And he goes, well, how would you like one? And I said, well, that's why we're all here. It's not to be rich or famous. It's to get representation. That was really the thing. So he said, well, you got one. If you want one, I'll be your manager. And I didn't know who he was, but he said, manager, representation. I said, okay, yeah, let's do it. Okay, fine. So he said, okay. And he gives me his card. And he said, okay, you got a manager. If anybody asks you, this is who I am. His name was Jack Rollins, and I didn't know who that was, but it turned out to be Woody Allen's manager. And
wow. Okay.
I didn't know that until that night or a couple of nights later when we were sitting around having beers after a show in a coffee house, in coffee houses. And I went to a bar and, hung out with all the other guys and girls. And somebody said, hey, well, anybody got a manager, agent? Anybody get a representation? They were just fishing for a name to go call. I said, well, me, I do. I haven't, so that was bragging rights. And when I said, well, who they said, well, who is it? And I said, I don't know, guy named Jack Rollins. And they all go, Jack Rollins, wow. And they didn't know what the hell they were talking about or why they went, wow. And he said, that's Woody Allen's manager. And I said, it is? And he goes, yeah. So I said, oh, wow, that's kind of cool. And they said, yeah. So I got a call from my manager, Jack Rollins, about a week later. And he said, I just booked you in a nightclub, which I didn't even know about that. I mean, I never thought about it. So I'll be in coffee houses for the rest of my life. I mean, I didn't think ahead. I just thought about tomorrow, and that was it. I was opening for Woody, really. I mean, I toured with him, and every once in a while he booked me with somebody else, until finally what happened was, and this is where the reality started to hit, was I started to see that Woody would kill. I would open up first, and I would do well, and he would do well. But then I started, and after about 6 months of just doing nightclubs with him, for him, I started to see that he was getting bigger laughs and I was getting less laughs, until finally I hardly wasn't getting any laughs at all, doing the same material I'd always been doing. And Jack said, yeah. So I complained to Jack. I said, well, he's killing, but I'm not getting much laughs at all. I mean, it's like I'm not there. And he goes, yeah, well, okay. You finally hit the wall. Okay, Woody's audience is not your audience, and you're just about to find that out, or you're finding that out. Every comedian has to find his own audience, I mean, like everybody else. Anybody else in show business, you got to find your audience.
Whether it's music or comedy or any of them. Right.
So he started booking me with other people, other acts that were kind of my speed. So I was seeing my kind of comedians who were opening for other nightclub acts. Mm-hmm. Like Carlin and Pryor and those kind of people. Lenny Bruce was my funny guy. I mean, I looked up to Lenny. And finally, I called Jack Rollins and said, look, man, they're throwing bottles at me. They're coming and telling me to get off the stage. I'm having police come in, because I was saying bad words on the stage, like Carlin and stuff. And so, like Lenny. So he said, well, join Second City. They're doing the same stuff, but they own the theater, so the cops can't come in. So that's what I did. I joined Second City. I auditioned and did that. And then from that, 5 of us left to do the committee, and that was in San Francisco, and that was right above, a plane ride hop from Hollywood, and that's how I got into TV.
Okay.
The casting people would fly up to San Francisco, not to Chicago and Second City, which is where I started from, but because it was just too far and too expensive, but San Francisco is just like an hour's flight. They could fly back on a night flight and sleep in their own beds. I mean, if they wanted to, just see the show. And we were a big hit. We had lines around the block, so we were all being cast to go down to Hollywood. And eventually the money was so big down there that they would cast our original company, which had lines around the block, until finally we didn't start coming back. We just stayed down there, one at a time. We'd lose him, we'd lose him, we'd lose her, we'd lose her. And then finally I was the last one to go because I didn't want to go down there. I thought it was all face acting. I put it all down. I wanted to be on the stage, where you can get instant, feedback. So, but the money was so good, I too went down there and never went back.
What was your first film? I mean, was it Escape from Alcatraz? I mean, was that how you broke in?
Oh, no. Well, yeah, the first. Well, no, I mean, like San Francisco had its own film company. As a matter of fact, the pornographic movie capital of the United States was in San Francisco, out in the valley.
Now, did you do any of those?
Yeah, I mean, not naked. I never took my clothes off. I was the comic relief.
Oh,
I got to tell you one fact I learned: nobody goes to a pornographic movie to laugh.
No, I didn't.
So it was a waste of. I mean, they stopped calling it because I did about 4.
So now
funny parts.
You are the comic relief in pornographic movies. Now, this is a nugget that I don't think you've shared with me before. Now, that's wow. I didn't know that.
Oh, well, no, you never asked me. Nobody ever. I bring it up. Nobody ever asked me.
That's a good point.
But yeah, I mean, I don't. I didn't think it was any different than any other part of show business because I didn't take my clothes off. I just went. There was a film, and I did a funny stuff.
Yeah.
And when I left, they either everybody had taken their clothes off already before I got there, or they were about to take their clothes off after I left. I mean, what I did had nothing to do with pornography. But I did find out, and finally I stopped doing it because I would go see the movie, and it was pornographic. But when I came on, nobody in the audience wearing a raincoat or anything, would laugh. I mean, they just sat there and they looked around like, why am I here? Why is this? This is not pornographic. What's going on?
Well,
so I mean, I would sit in the back and watch the audience and to my performance on the screen, and they would look around. They would start. Their concentration was broken.
Sure, absolutely.
People in the audience, the males. It was mainly male audiences.
Right.
They would just start looking around. They would go, What's going on? Is this a funny movie? The confusion was very funny to me sitting in the back.
Right, and you played so many different on different episodes, different shows and different films.
Yeah.
What do you think the don't you think, because you play character roles, don't you think there's more longevity in that?
Yeah, but I did that because of my dyslexia, and that was my choice. That was me, not Hollywood.
I didn't know that. Okay.
I started to get. I'm dyslexic.
Okay.
And I have an ADHD. Now, a lot of turns out a lot of actors down there, a lot of actors are dyslexic or ADHD. It seems to be something that would help actors. Performance, wanting to be the center of attention, being loud, being actor. Just me. That
sure.
kind of thing.
Right.
Concentration. But one of the things about dyslexia is it affects ADHD and dyslexia affect different people different ways. It's not really curable. It's they have workarounds. You can ignore it. You can't cure it, but you can ignore it. You can work around it. Like with me, dyslexia prevented me from learning lines easily. It's very difficult for me to memorize things, except if I write it myself. That's really interesting. If I write it myself, I can memorize it. Well, it takes me a long time, but I do it. But
sure.
So one of the rules I had in Hollywood was Larry gets the script first, or as soon as possible, so that I would have enough lag time to memorize it. So it never bothered me on the set because I always came prepared, because I always got the script early enough for me to, force feed the lines and get it down before I went in to do the shot. But then I started getting more and more famous, and the parts getting bigger and bigger, and there was not enough lag time for the big enough part, for the big part for me to get it down before I had to shoot it. So that didn't work anymore. So I just refused the parts. So I just turned down the parts. So that made me a character actor, because I couldn't take any more co-starring roles or starring roles. The parts were just too big. I couldn't memorize them.
Okay, and in the meantime...
and just one more thing.
Sure, absolutely. Absolutely.
I'm writing right now. My next writing thing is a one-man show. Well, just tell stories like what's in the book or other stories that I've written.
So it's almost like a sequel, but different.
Stage.
Gotcha.
So
well, my friend, it's always a pleasure to have you on. I look forward to the next time.
Okay.
And I hope you have a great holiday season. And then, for people out there that are, getting ready to do their shopping for the holidays, I urge you to.
It'd be a great book.
Oh, it is. Well,
gift.
Well, it is. It's a perfect gift. It's a great book. It's called That Guy by Larry Hankin.
Right.
You can get it on Amazon. And in the meantime, I look forward to having you back on and hearing about all your exciting things aside from doing comedy and pornos. Okay?
Okay, cool. All right, thanks a lot, Todd.
Thank you, Larry.
Appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
Okay, bye.
Bye-bye.
Coming up next on The Right Mind Show with Todd Showalter, stand-up comedian Chrissy Mayr. Welcome back to The Right Mind Show with Todd Showalter on News Talk STL. And now a man who always has cold feet when he's around his wife because she always knocks his socks off. Todd Showalter.
On the line right now is my favorite comedian, and she should be yours too, Chrissy Mayr. How's it going, Chrissy? How have you been since the last time we spoke with you?
Oh, it's great, Todd. Since we spoke last, I am now pregnant, and I didn't want to have to tell you like this, but you are the father.
I
Todd.
thought so. You promised me I wouldn't be. Remember, that was the whole thing. That was like the deal that we had. Oh, geez. Oh, I'm sorry. Well, it could be a good thing. Is it twins like we thought last time?
I actually saw reading this thing online that it's, I guess, the Chinese, they believe strange things that certain positions can produce a certain outcome or a certain gender for the baby. And I actually read that if you're, all right, how can I say this in as PG as way as possible? Okay. I guess the Chinese believe that if you're doing it, right, if you're having intimate time and then the woman does not,
I enjoyed as much.
Yes, if the woman does not come to conclusions, let's say it like that, then you're more likely to have a boy. And if you are having intimate adult time and the woman does come to conclusions, you're more likely to have a girl. And if that were true, Todd, I would be having twin boys.
Oh, well, congratulations to us. I guess the gender reveal party doesn't even have to happen now. I did a cartoon a while back that Joey liked about the gender reveal party but I thought it was for like the parents. I didn't realize it was for the kids themselves. But that's kind of like a well-used, overused joke.
Everyone loves the gender reveal party. I was in there. I wanted to do one. They were like, "What do you want? Do you want blue confetti or pink?" I was like, "Do you have black?" I want to make everyone surprised.
I know. Well, that's like, I thought it was mine though. I mean, they pop out with mullets. Well, congratulations though. I mean, that's neat. I mean, I'm going to have to start another college fund. But when did you find out?
Oh God, I actually found out September 1st.
Oh, really?
I was 7 weeks along. I had a very busy summer. It was a very white cloth summer, so the baby's going to be born with quite a tolerance. That's good. You got to build them up early, because everybody, all these kids now. I mean, is this your first child, your first kid, or baby, or whatever you want to call it? No, I'm a stepmom, which is good because I always thought I had the body to be a stepmom.
Yeah.
I just figured, because I watched all the films.
Sure.
That had to be a stepmom. And my biggest takeaway was just don't get stuck in the dryer.
You mean physically stuck in the dryer, or what do you mean?
Yeah,
metaphorically.
That's a porn joke, Todd.
That's usually the stepmother, though, because you're bending over into the dryer, right? And I've seen that one too. Or it's usually the stepsister. They don't usually put those two together, though. Now, I know exactly where you're going with this, but this is the first baby that's popped out of you, though, right? That kind of thing.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, do you have any? You're nervous at all? I mean, how far? When's the big day? I mean, I should have known.
He's due April 19th, but I'm hoping he holds out till Hitler's birthday, which is April 20th.
Would you name him Hitler? Because that would probably make him really popular in school.
Let's see. I am half German, so if he comes out Heiling, then I guess I'll have to change the name.
Well, there you go. I'm half German too, but that makes if I'm half German and you're half German and it's our kid, does that make him totally German?
Wow, I think so.
Your papers? Yeah, that's it. Wow, that should be exciting.
Well, his first word will be "Where are the Jews?"
Yeah. Well, and there we go at that. Hey, what's going on with the airplane? Every time you get on an airplane, because I'm following your stuff that you got on Twitter and stuff, you're always having some incident. What was the latest thing?
I was in Texas last week, headlining in Dallas with my friend and opener Keanu, and we were just like, because everyone's heard about the DEI requirements that are happening everywhere, but specifically also on airlines. You know, they want a black disabled lesbian, or else, you know, the skies aren't going to be as equitable. So we just thought it would be fun to, as we're boarding the plane, like take a little video and see if we could peek inside the cockpit. And sure enough, I was so relieved to see two white necks with salt and pepper hair, you know, looking back at me. So we were very relieved that we had white male pilots, and it was the smoothest flight ever.
Well, did you throw like a liberal fit though? Did you like pout and scream that, you know, you feel oppressed? I mean, I would have like said, this plane is not taking off until I have an Eskimo midget flying the plane.
Well, we did have an Asian flight attendant, so you know, I figure if I have her serve us a couple of drinks, that'll even it out.
And that worked out.
I do like to feel, you know, a lot of diversity in my flights. I don't understand why that's a priority for people.
Now, did you tell her that you're well along pregnant, so make it give you two drinks, or how did that work?
Yeah, that's what I said. I said I'm drinking for two. I should be entitled to a double, but she didn't seem to understand. Yeah,
well, that's just you're going to be a cool mom, because now everybody seems to be so, you know, careful about everything, and you know they got to do. Like you, when I was growing up, my mom smoked. I mean, when she was pregnant with me, I have no idea, but you know everything. And look at us, we turned out right. I mean, you're probably going to have really well-adjusted kids. Are you going to make sure that they don't turn out, you know, into like, or he rather, into like a woke wimp? I said, did I say limp?
Definitely.
Limp.
Definitely. Because I was supposed to go to a friend's wedding in California like next weekend, and I actually had to cancel because I was like, if I give birth in California, they're going to trans the baby. So
you're right.
I had to hold off on that.
Well, what's the name going to be? I mean, because I already got Todd Jr. Blake is the other one. I mean, have you thought about this?
Oh, gosh. You know, I was thinking Todd Jr. I'm going to have to go back to the drawing board.
Oh, okay. Well, I think there could be two. I mean, why not? I mean, you can identify with any name you want now, can't you?
That's true. It is 2024.
Yeah, I guess. You go to any place fun for the winter time? You got any shows booked anywhere like, you know, I'm going to be in Florida. Are you going to be in Florida?
I was just in Florida. I was just in Tampa in the beginning of December, and I was talking to this woman who was hosting the show, and I was like, "Oh, I'm a little nervous. I had a very White Claw filled summer. I was drinking the first few weeks of my pregnancy." She said, "Don't worry. You want to know how I found out I was pregnant? I took some acid, and then I didn't feel anything, and then I realized that I was pregnant, and that baby took all that acid." And I was like, and I felt so much better.
See, I mean, what could go wrong? I mean, that's just, and it's all relative, right? You know, yeah. I mean, and you can actually brag if your son grows up stupid. Okay, like, you know, it could happen because that's what happened. My mom, I mean, her son grew up stupid. I mean, then you say, you know, well, hey, it was because I drank a lot. Or if she turns out brilliant, like Joey, then again you can say, well, it's because I drank a lot. So either way, you're covered.
Yeah, I'm really either. You know, you can always fall back on his sense of humor, or what I imagine will be incredibly good look. I'm not worried at all. And there's one more chance to see me very pregnant doing comedy, and that's next month, February 24th at Tiff's Ale House in Morris Plains, New Jersey. So if you sit in the front row and you don't laugh at my jokes, I might have to break my water over one of your shoes.
And there's that, but what a way to watch a show. I mean, that's better than any Gallagher crap, right? I mean, you're smashing a watermelon and having somebody's water break in your lap. I mean, that is comedy, right?
Yes, I'm going to be the female Gallagher. I'll use my own body.
Oh, I love it. That's even better. What a shtick. Now, is your mom, is she all excited? I mean, you have parents? I mean, are that claim you? Like, because my parents, they don't own me anymore. I mean, do you have a mom that's excited about all this?
Well, my parents are both dead, and I'm sure they're thrilled.
You put that on the notes. You said, please do not bring up my parents. And I don't know. I guess it's just my short-term memory that because my mom drank. Yeah.
I'm very lucky to have a mother-in-law and father-in-law who very much are going to be around to help, and they're very helpful.
Oh, that is good. Yeah, because daycare now, it costs more than college tuition. You know that, don't you?
Oh, it's insane.
Yeah.
How hard could it be? Just keep them alive and keep them from, you know, putting random objects in their mouth.
Well, that's just it. And the thing, I used to be, I mean, you know, those dresser drawers things or whatever you keep your baby clothes in. I think I used to, they just used to pull out the drawer and put me in. And if I screamed a lot, they just shut the drawer. And now kids are so coddled. I mean, are you going to be, kind of tough one? I mean, are you going to raise them right? I mean, because we talked a little bit earlier about, making sure they don't turn into like woke wimps. But in the early stages, are you going to take an animal, like motherly, nature to them and make sure that they're roughened up early?
Oh, for sure. I'm going to be like, go play in the dirt. I don't want to see you till 5 o'clock,
Right.
That's going to be from the time they're born till 18. I'll be like, look, I'll see you in a year. Just figure it out.
Well, now, do you have a husband or a boyfriend that knows about, the whole pregnancy thing? Is he excited?
Yes, I have a husband, and he is aware.
Okay, he does know. So he's all prepared for this big thing. Because everything changes. I got to tell you, everything changes big time.
People say congratulations all the time, and I'm like, don't congratulate me. I just laid there.
Oh, yeah, but you did it in a certain position and so that you would have a boy. Yeah. Well,
right.
Well, that's good to know.
I definitely have stopped watching birth videos on YouTube. My plan is to just snap back right away, and nothing's going to tear apart. All my body parts are going to remain intact. That's the plan.
Well, is he going to videotape it? I videotaped my kids being born. That was really neat.
I'm probably going to live stream it, and then the biggest super chat, I'll name a stretch mark after you.
Oh, please do. That would be wonderful. Yeah. That'd be great. How's the podcast going? I forgot. Are you doing the Wet Spot still? I mean, is that still going on?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. A show called The Wet Spot on Compound Media, Mondays at 7 p.m. Eastern on compoundmedia.com. That is kind of like an old school Howard Stern show where we have comedians on, and adult film stars on, and it's we talk about untoward topics all the time. But then I also have one-on-one interviews on my YouTube channel. If you just go to Chrissy Mayr on YouTube, I'll interview political people, comedians, authors. Really, it runs the gamut.
Yeah, actually, I knew that it was still going on. I would say, I don't want you to think I had short-term memory like I just joked about before, but it's really, I just wanted you to be able to pitch it, and you did a great job because it's really very entertaining. I love it. I think it's even better because you haven't had me on, because I've been on other shows before. I've ruined them. I've ruined other people's shows.
Todd, I would love to have you on. If you're ever in New York, for some reason, before or after you get mugged, you can come do my show.
I was in New York recently. I wish I should have called you. Yeah.
Oh, gosh. Next time, definitely hit me up.
Yeah, we were riding this. I had my son. We were taking the subway down to Brooklyn, and somebody wanted money, but nobody would give it to this guy, and so he stuck like change inside the door or something, and they couldn't shut the door. And you would have thought, they had to stop everything, and so we were at least 10 minutes late to where we didn't know we were going to be to begin with.
So did anybody end up giving you change?
Yes, they did. Actually, that and a half a ham sandwich. So it was great. And I said, I got to go home because I got to make Chrissy pregnant.
You're like, it was me. I'm the one asking for change.
Well, I appreciate that. You're always looking out for my best interest. Well, hey, I hope, now you're saying, when is the day now? You said April 19th?
April 19th I'm due. So take your bets, everyone.
Oh, yeah. I'm going to be in touch with you many times prior to then, just making sure that you're feeling well. And, because that's I'm a caring type of guy, and so I want to make sure. And I also want to make sure that you got the notice that I changed my address again.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you, Todd.
All right. Well, thanks for joining. Any final thoughts before you head off to, pre-motherhood, popping babies out time?
Oh, God, no. I'm just, it's a nerve-wracking process.
Yeah. Well,
I've heard people say that having a kidney stone is more painful than giving birth, but I've never done that.
Well, if you give birth to a kidney stone, then you could call it Todd Jr., that could be neat. Or just name him Kidney Stone. They say, hey, that'd be a great name, Kidney Stone.
Oh, that's a great idea. Yeah, actually, my husband passed a kidney stone, but they let me keep it, and I actually could put it in my engagement ring. So
I like that. Yeah, we did that. Yeah. My grandfather had his leg amputated, and we put it on the mantle over the fireplace. And, and then we'd always tell him, well, it looks like you're on your last leg. We used to really say that to him, and he thought it was really funny, but now he did die, and so he's gone.
It's probably probably better during the holidays because you literally have a mistletoe.
It's exactly right. A mistletoe. Between you and why everybody's got all these clever things, Joey, and I'm just sitting over here like a Todd. Jeez. Well, a mistletoe. I'm going to do that. I'm going to hang his leg upside down. I mean, what the heck is that? It's the mistletoe. Anyway, well, I'm so excited that everything came to fruition with our night together, and I can't wait to hear. I can't wait to hear the details later on. And like you said, look at those. You ever see those deer and horse movies? They just pop right up, and they're out working in the field. Right, minutes later, that could be you, but probably not. I'd milk this for all you could.
Okay, that's the plan.
All right. Well, you're the best. Chrissy Mayr on the line with us. I urge you to check her out on YouTube and the Wet Spot podcast. It's such a good time whenever I talk to you. I look forward to the next time when I hear a screaming kid in the background.
Thank you, Todd.
All right. Talk soon. All right. Bye-bye.
Well, you know what I always say, whether I'm sick or not, don't you?
Mm.
If you don't have a right mind, you don't have a mind at all.
Boy,
I tell you.
Where's my spit bucket?
Well, that's going to do it for me, Todd Showalter, along with my bestest buddy, Joy V. You've been listening to The Right Mind Show. Until next time, bye-bye.
Thanks for tuning in to The Right Mind Show with Todd Showalter. To find out about all things Todd, go to studiotodd.com. We will see you next Saturday night at 5 p.m. right here on 101.9, 94.1 News Talk STL, and always streaming online at newstalkstl.com.